Moving on to wide receiver, let's start with the stacks, and they kind of fall in the same place this week. So I will stack Breeze with Thomas. Tampa 27th wide receiver against 27th against wide receiver 1. Michael Thomas is due, and I actually am probably going to game stack that, so it will be Breeze, Thomas, Mike Evans, or Breeze, Thomas, Deshaun Jackson, maybe both, all three. I look for that game, the shootout. I will have Breeze with Ted Ginn for sure. Ted Ginn has been great and has the big play potential and actually catching 4, 5, 6 balls a game. And as I said, probably have Breeze with Kamara. Dak, one stack with Prescott. I'm sorry, with Dez Bryant. Game stack with Tyreek Hill. So I will have a Dak Dez, and then on the other side, Tyreek Hill stack. If they're going to attack Kansas City, they're going to attack him with Dak, with Zeke out. So I expect Dak to have a good game there and be targeted often, especially in the red zone. You know, he always has those 3 touchdown games in him. He's not what he used to be, but he still can score in the red zone. Wilson, you can kind of pick your poison there. You can go naked with no stack and just ride him out, or I would say to be safe, you go with Baldwin just because he is his most targeted player, although Paul Richardson obviously was great last week. Jared Goff, so here's my other play. Sammy Watkins, $4,200. You can have Goff and Watkins fill your quarterback and wide receiver for under $10,000. And if you go look, you can then have Hunt and Gurley and other good players there. So Goff and Watkins, and I will be using Watkins in a lot of lineups, with or without the stack. Savage, I'll have him once with Fuller, once with Hopkins. I'm going to try it, see how it goes 1 week. Not going to write that offense off yet. There's a lot of weapons there, a lot of power. Fuller has come up to $7,000. That worries me a little bit, but going to have a little bit of exposure. Probably just in the stack. Probably not outside the stack. I'll stack Stanton with Fitzgerald, and I do like Larry Fitzgerald in this game at $5,900 in and out of the stack. 25th against wide receiver 1, San Francisco is, and he will be the guy that Stanton probably most trusts and looks to in that game. And Flacco and Wallace, as I said, if I'm going to stack anyone with Flacco, it's going to be the big play guy, not Macklin. I like Devin Funchess in this game with Benjamin out of town at $5,400. I think you can use him in that value in all your lineups. I will have heavy exposure to Watkins at $4,200. Too much of an upside, too much of a ceiling, too good a player. Again, Fuller, I like him, but $7,000 is getting up there, so probably just keeping him in the stack. I'll have Thomas and Ginn throughout multiple lineups, even without Breeze, and Larry Fitzgerald. Moving on to tight end. So I had loved Zach Ertz, but he's a little banged up, so just keep an eye on that. Otherwise, I stack him with Wentz. That will be my one Wentz lineup, Wentz and Ertz. But I got to see how he's doing. I liked Ryan Griffin before Watson got hurt, and before Griffin's a little banged up, so you got to keep an eye on that. So I will stack Graham with Wilson and probably Kelsey with Smith. But I don't want to pay up for those guys outside of that stack. I want to look for some value this week at tight end. And to me, that's Ed Dixon at 3,100th. Tampa, I'm sorry, they're not Tampa. They're 24th against the tight end. So Dixon with Benjamin out of town, again, another possible target. And the one that I love, if Delaney Walker is out or limited in this game, Jonnu Smith. Big play potential. Baltimore absolutely dead last against tight ends. Baltimore, dead last against tight ends. Jonnu Smith, big play option, 3,400. But again, if Delaney Walker is limited or out, otherwise I temper that and look more to Dixon. And then I think you can take a little bit of Mercedes Lewis, but I'd rather go Jonnu Smith. Defense, last week I was 100% owned on the Eagles. I told you guys that, and it was great play in the rain against this horrible quarterback from San Francisco. This week, they play a much better team in a tough game, the Broncos, but a horrible quarterback in Brock Osweiler. And the Eagles put pressure on the quarterback. And let's remember, Brock Osweiler stinks. So, $3,300, I will have exposure to the Eagles. I think there could be some scores for Denver, but I see a Brock Osweiler mistake in this game. And if you want to drop down and spend less on defense, it's a tough week. And it's kind of pick your poison. But the Ravens at Tennessee, look, Tennessee could score points in that game. There's no doubt about it. But the Ravens defense at $2,900, I mean, they've put up 30 points twice. They've put up 20s 3 other times. There's a worse bet to make than the Ravens at $2,900. Let's bring it on. Week 9. Let's win the Willie Maker. Let's win the Millie Maker this week.